With the draft 1 day away, the Chicago Bulls have a lot of different players that they're thinking about possibly bringing into the fold. But I'm going to tell you the one things the Chicago Bears have to leave this draft with, and it starts right now. Now, if you are rocking with the channel, man, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, man, hit that notification bell as well. We do talk Chicago Bulls daily on this channel. Only channel talking Bulls, how Bulls fans talk. So make sure that you get in tune with us, man. Pat the Designer back at it again. Appreciate y'all for showing love as always. Listen, there's a lot being connected to the Chicago Bulls here ahead of the draft because at 12, there are a lot of names available to the Bulls right now. I mean, we've talked about Thomas Sorber. Casey Johnson just dropped a report as well. I think that was yesterday that this came out, later on yesterday, kind of going into today, about Noah Essingu and Colin Murray Boyles really being the names that are being floated around the Chicago Bulls at this point. Those are the two names that he's hearing loudest. And here is the God's honest truth. The only thing that I am looking to see the Chicago Bulls come away from this draft with, because we can talk about, what the Bulls need. They need a big man that defends the rim. They need a two-way big. They need a two-way wing. They need somebody who can shoot the three ball. And you guys have seen, right? I love a Cedric Howard. I think he's going to be a steal in this draft for some team. I really enjoy Thomas Sorber's game. I think that there's something to be said about Danny Wolf's game as well. There's a bunch of pieces in this draft that I really look at and I'm like, this kid could be something, right? You have to find an answer. You have too many questions and you've turned down too many first-round picks. And what I mean by you have to find an answer is you can't come out of this draft with Dalen Terry. You can't come out of this draft with Patrick Williams. You can't come out of this draft with somebody who, in my opinion, is going to take time to build up, and you're going to have to hope for the immense upside to hit. To me, that kind of kills guys like Colin Murray Boyles and Noah Essingu, two guys who Casey Johnson mentioned here. But I think here's the big thing right now. Because of the path that AK has decided to take, you need somebody who fits into what the Bulls are doing right now. It seems like Coby White is probably not going anywhere. It seems like you are going to re-sign Josh Giddey. These are moves that we expect to come down the line. It seems like you're going to stick with Ayo Dosunmu on this team, even though we did see that Casey Johnson had talked about how probably one of those two pieces won't be out there long term. But the weird part about KC is we know sometimes KC could be used, and I'm not saying that this is the case, but we know he's talking with the Bulls. So if the Bulls are telling him things and he's hearing stuff from the Bulls organization, there could be a situation where the Bulls are telling him this stuff to try and get it out there into the news cycles. But I think here's the big thing. No matter what, you're in a position where you need just about anything that you can get in this draft, and it is available to you. But because of the path that AK has decided to take here, you've got your point guard of the future. Seems like you're probably sticking it out with Coby White, at least for this season. I would assume if he's staying here this season, you're sticking it out with him for the foreseeable future. That means you have your shooting guard. The goal is now then to find a wing, which you have a massive question mark at, unless you turn Modest Buzelis into that. Although I think they like Modest at the 4 right now. Find a wing, that guy that can slide in at the 3, be a 3-and-D player at a minimum right now, come into the game and be able to give you contribution. Or you go out there and you get the big man that you are looking for your future. And it seems like that guy's probably not going to be one of the guys who is a star, who comes in maybe with a little bit of a high floor, right? I think of Noah Essingu. You look at his game. He's only been playing a few years out of college here. I'm sorry, out of overseas here. He is a young player who started playing basketball a few years ago. Like, you look at his game and you say, okay, well, that means that he's already good at these things really quickly. At a minimum, we know that these will improve: the defensive ability, the rim protection, the ability to play, 2 through 4. Like, those are things that I think, or 2 through 5, I should say. Those are things that I think you do have to keep an eye out for with players like that. But you have to come away with somebody who answers the question, do I have to worry about that position? because right now it seems like 8K is set on this core. Give this core the best opportunity to go out there and win. Now, should we be believers in this core? Probably not. Should we sit here and say the Josh Giddey, Kobe White, Modest Buzelis, and whoever you add to this team is going to be the one that ends up going on this big run? Probably not. I'm not expecting that to be the case, at least this early on in the process. But where I do think that you have to have a conversation around this team is putting them in a position to where the possibility is there for this team to hit the ground running, and you're addressing something that was an issue last season. Big issue for the Bulls last season, rim protection and that defensive switchability for bigs. Listen, those are things that you would love to improve upon. Now, you would also love to add in the scoring. Is that going to come from Modest Buzelis? Is that going to come from Kobe White? Because your big plan here is probably to move on from Nikola Vucevic, I would assume before the start of the season, but with how the Bulls do things, probably at the trade deadline, giving yourself an opportunity to work a young big into the starting rotation and let him kind of learn from Vooch under that veteran tutelage for a couple of months here, which is fine, right? But either way it goes, my big thing that I want to see the Chicago Bulls leave this draft with is something where you go, that guy is going to be able to play that position for 10 years, and we're not going to have to worry about him. Now, if you get the upside, which I think there are players that provide the upside, I love it. Again, I'm a big Cedric Coward guy. To me, Cedric Coward's a player who uses the defense, who uses his wingspan and his length defensively extremely well. I think when he shoots the basketball, shooting the three ball extremely well. I think that he lives to be a basketball player, and he lives and breathes that mindset that you need to be successful in this game. I've talked about him. I have high hopes on him, and I think that he's somebody who you could talk about that has that upside. But at a minimum, even if he is just a solid piece, defensively, you know that's going to translate. The three ball, you know that's going to translate. Those are two things that you need help with: spacing the floor and being able to defend. Having a lineup that actually can go out there and defend, especially with the step back in defense we saw Patrick Williams take last season. I think, to me, just don't overdo this. That's the big takeaway for me. Don't go out there and try and find the guy who you have to develop into a gem. You're not that good at that yet. Right? You're not this team that is the Oklahoma City Thunder yet. You're not, and I get you want to follow that line of thinking, but you're not the Spurs. You're not the Thunder. You're not the Warriors. You're the Bulls. You haven't done that well yet. And so here's the bottom line. I say all this to say, you can't miss. This is a year where if you're going with this lineup of Giddey, Modest, Kobe, Ayo, Vooch is still involved in that, at least for a certain point, right? You're going with this lineup that is the young guys. We're going with the young future here. That's fine. You have to give them the best opportunity to go out there and do what they do best by finding somebody who fits in perfectly with what they all do best and allows them to continue to improve their game while he just slides in and figures things out in his rookie year. The Bulls have to come away with an answer at some level. And you can't sit here and talk about, oh my goodness, we've got tremendous upside. This guy could be this if he develops in 4 years. That's not the kind of team you're trying to put together here. It's not. If it was, you'd have traded Kobe White. If it was, you probably are trading Alex Caruso for the picks when that came through. If it was, you're probably trading Zach LaVine earlier. If it was, you're trading DeMar DeRozan earlier. If it was, right, we're to this point where we know what the Bulls essentially want to do is just find solid young players and hope that they fit in, which it seems like you might have actually done that with what we saw in the second half of the season last year. So you have to go out there and continue that process. That's how you're drafting. Every player I'd be looking at in this draft would have the highest floor possible, even if the ceiling is lower. And that's, to me, what the Chicago Bulls have to come away with. Let me know how you guys feel in the comments below. I'll be down there talking with you guys as well. What are you looking to see the Bulls leave with in the draft? Again, I talked about Cedric Coward as my number one. I think Noah Essingu is high ceiling, low floor. I think that when you talk about Colin Murray-Boyles, offensively, I don't think he's going to be that guy. Maybe the IQ helps you, and that's something that you can hang your hat on with him as a power forward on this team. I don't think that's a big need for you right now, but we'll see what ends up happening in the long run. But let me know how you guys feel down in the comments below. I'll be down there talking with you guys as well. As always, man, it's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. See Red Nation. Stand up. Peace.